Hello, am I audible? Yes, sir. Good morning, Rajshekhar. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So one, two. on the admission theory. We'll start in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Good morning, everyone. We'll begin the session in another 2 or 3 minutes here. Sir. Am I audible to all of you? Very good.
What is the
Good morning, students. Within a minute, we are going to start the session. So I request all the participants to join as early as possible. It's already 11. Guest is, waiting for these sessions. So within a minute. Come out. See that.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Achyut Terkal, faculty of ENC department, Building Engineering College, Vajanapitamaha. Here will be acting as a host for this webinar session here. Okay, my story, motivational session by successful entrepreneur or startup here. Now, initially, I would request our actually Dr. Umesh Dixit sir to give the welcome address to the particular sessions. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Achyut sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Very good morning to all. This is Umesh Dixit. First of all, I welcome our today's special guest, Mr. Rajashekhar Shirur. I'm very happy to share that he is alumni of our college. Not only alumni, he was my batchmate and also study mate during our graduation. Mr. Rajashekhar, he is a multi-talented person and also the great source of inspiration. On behalf of management, principal, staff, and students, I welcome you, sir. I also take this opportunity to welcome all the participants to this wonderful session. Hope the webinar will be fruitful and also encourage in bringing new startups and also entrepreneurs. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Achyut, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, I would request our Dr. Pradhanov sir, to give the introduction to the resource persons.
Good morning, everyone. I hope all of you will well in this COVID situation. First of all, I welcome today's resource person, Rajashekhar Shirur. In spite of his busy schedule, he has accepted our invitation, and within a short period of time, I thanks as well as welcome Shirur sir for this session. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Mr. Rajashekhar Shirur. First of all, he is our proud and esteemed alumni. He completed the primary school from Sainik School, Bijapur, and finished his graduation in same our college, BE in ENC branch. Later, he completed MTech in VLSI Design and Embedded System, VTU Extension Center, Bengaluru. He has got 12 years of IT experience, including Karmic Electronic Medical, Satyam Computers, Bengaluru, ARM Embedded Technology, Bengaluru, Xilinx India Services, Hyderabad. He received Technovation Award of India Semiconductor Association, ISA, from our late President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has got patents in the field of chip designing. He received many awards for outstanding performance in managing projects within the organization. He has got 6 years of entrepreneurial experience, food processing, biofertilizers, IT, and e-commerce. He has got instrumental in professionalism, startups, and making them the leaders in the segment. He has got interest in many subjects, but few of them are health, food, agriculture, yoga, and meditation. This is a very brief introduction of our today's resource person, Mr. Rajashekhar Shirur. Once again, I welcome you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful introduction of our resource person, Rajashekhar Shirur. Now, I would request Rajashekhar Shirur, sir, to take over the sessions.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I thank my alma mater, BLDA College of Engineering, for giving me this opportunity to share my life story and probably my experience with IT and a little bit of entrepreneurial activities that we are taking up. So at the outset, I first of all thank each one of you for making time. First of all, it's one thing that I would like to share with you all is, see, this itself is what we call taking initiatives. Probably more people were invited and some of you are turned up. It means there is a fire in each one of us to know at least what things are happening around and what is that we can learn from one another. Trust me, my story is not any different than any one of you. I mean, probably most of you have the same story as mine, at least until my college days, because most of you are in college. So I'll just in short share my story, okay? I'm very sure we all can connect those dots. Okay, excuse me, I just spotlighted so that I connect with each one of you. Is it okay if I can request each one of you to turn on your videos? I see except the hosts, all of you have put your cameras off. Come on, guys. I'm just, one of your senior. Don't hesitate, to show your faces. Can I see a few more faces, please? Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, few more. I mean, may I know what is the reason for not turning on cameras? Just half an hour to 45 minutes, right? Yeah, unfortunately, the COVID situation didn't allow us to, meet face to face. That's why we are trying to see where we can make use of the technology and, share our experiences, learn from one another. Trust me, there is so much to learn from one another, irrespective of age, where we are, what we are doing. There is humongous things that we can pick from one another. So don't hesitate, to open up, share whatever, issues, strengths you people possess. There are many people around you to help each other, right? So sorry for that interruption. I still see only like 5-6 cameras on. Should we give a break for makeup or something? Okay, on a lighter note, sorry for that. Okay, yeah, good. I can see more faces now, and it will be good if more of you can turn on your cameras in next few minutes, because there's no point me talking to, the monitor. I want to speak to each one of you. In fact, I'm thinking if this can be made an interactive session, so that we all have an opportunity to speak, share our views, whatever help we can offer to one another. Right? That's the whole purpose of having these interactive sessions. Very nice. I'm very proud that I come from an alma mater like BLDA. I know, many of you may disagree, or on a lighter note, you may even say, yeah, probably I'm doing it to please few of my friends there. No, not really. You people are fortunate. I'm not saying that we are at the extremely best place, but trust me, no regrets. You'll cherish every moment that you have spent in your life at BLEA, especially after you come out of the college. So coming back to my story, okay, I come from a very small village, which is around 30 kilometers from Bijapur. There's a place called Kalaburgi. Okay, I'm very proud about it because coming from an agricultural family, where my father is an agriculturist, mother is a homemaker, we are blessed that we are brought up in a very healthy environment where they have gone all the way out to see that we get the best education possible. Okay, so I know many are unfortunate that they want to study, but they don't get that opportunity. And without our knowledge, we were made to, or rather, we're pushed to go study, do something, and that's all that credit goes to my parents. Okay, and little bit about my siblings. My brother is a scientist. He currently is posted. He's a central government scientist. He's posted in Manage as a director. And I have a sister who is married, and both my sister and my brother-in-law are in IT. Again, thing to share is both of them are alumni of BLDA college. Just that the branch is different. Both of them come from computer science. So that is a little bit about my background, about where I was born, brought up, how my childhood was. Probably like or unlike, many of you, even I studied in a government school for first 5 years. Okay, and then as I said, probably unlike many of you, I know you're all good people, but I was very notorious as a child. So probably my father thought, I think if this continues, I don't know what this guy will be, and he ensured that I get into Sainik School, Bijapur. Okay, probably I can say that is the best gift I got from my dad in my life, because very few people get to study in a school like Sainik School, Bijapur. Things might have changed because education system has matured a lot. There are more opportunities today, but then in the year of like 1991, I think Sainik School was, and I'm sure even now is one of the best schools to study. And I was made to prepare for that, go through the exam, and then join Sainik School. So those were again my 7 fruitful years where I spent my childhood, or rather schoolhood, in Sainik School. If I can recall some of the best things about my school days, all I remember is I used to play. Okay, I was probably trying to be there in every possible sport. And if I had to look at how much I studied, probably only to an extent that I should get passing marks. That was my attitude when I was in Sainik School. Not just me, I think probably 70-80% of the people in Sainik School never prioritized studies. Okay, I think some of you might be knowing, we have houses inside. Okay, just like how you see in defense, there'll be barracks. And there'll be a lot of inter-house competitions. So all the time, probably we were only strategizing how to make our house win in a particular sport, right? How each one of us can, improve our skills, whether it is sports, quiz, declamation, whatever it could be, right? Public speaking, all that kind of thing. So that is somewhere I got a lot of exposure, but I had never realized that we were so fortunate that we got so much of exposure in Sainik School, Bijapur. So after that, I'm just going to tell you one incident, or one fact which is very hard to believe. But until I come out of Sainik School, I didn't know what is the difference between state syllabus and central syllabus. Okay, all I knew is I was made to join Sainik School. Okay, and joined and just went on and on for 7 years. When I came out, I didn't even know what are the choices in front of me. Yes, I mean, it is hard to believe, but 18 years, 20 years back, that was the story. And especially being from a Sainik School, we were very, very, conserved. Rather, we had not seen the outside world at all. Okay. you talk about as an individual, we had everything in us, but when it comes to the probably outside things and a competition in studies, I didn't know. And more importantly, I didn't even knew what CET is. Okay, I think there was a last date announced for filling your CET forms. I think there were 3 more days, which I very clearly remember, because after finishing my school, I was back in my village enjoying vacation. All the students outside were attending CET coaching and preparing for exams. I heard there is something called negative marking. I knew nothing about it. Okay, and my brother just called me. He was already he had already enrolled for. He was already doing his BSc Agri from Bijapur College. He called home. I think probably there were only 2 landlines in my village. One was in my house. So he called me and blasted me and my dad for that. That everybody is so serious about what to do next, and this guy is happily sleeping at home doing nothing. Then he immediately called me to Bijapur and made me fill the CET form, and that is how I probably wrote CET. You can imagine, without knowing what CET is, I wrote a CET exam. Okay, and after that also you can imagine what rank I would have got. Okay, so I probably ended up being probably 11,000 rank, somewhere plus or minus. So the only option then I had was to settle for some branch, don't know which college, and I didn't even knew what those branches were. Everybody were saying first preference CS, second preference E&C. Even I heard so, but anyway, for my rank, there was nothing like that. Okay, then I just checked with my brother what to do. I had taken him also for counseling. He said, you're so dumb, you probably don't even know what the branches are, you have never explored. It's better you take BLDA college, because it is close to house. We will see, I'll also be there around. We will see what you'll do. Okay, that is how I got into BLDA college. Not that I picked it. I was told that is the nearest to me, so I have to take that. And in that college, the branches that were available were only IP, not even automobile, IP and civil then. Okay, now I think probably the priorities have changed, because they keep changing every 4 to 5 years, which I learned very late. So that is how I got into IP, industrial production. Then got into the college. By the time I come and enroll myself, 3 sections already had finished 2 months of classes, A, B, C. Okay, and I came, and there were another 3 or 4 of my classmates from Sainik school who had taken same college. Okay, but they probably had a better ranking, so they got into B and C section. I didn't get, because I heard there was something to do with enrollment for having come from a central syllabus. So my file had to go back to administration, and it took some another 3-4 days. By the time I come back, C section was full. So I was probably first of the few guys in D section, and I enrolled. Then probably there were hardly any registrations. I think we were 4 or 5 of us in D section. It took another 15 to 20 days for the D section to get filled, because they, I think, went for second and third round of counseling and all that happened. So that is how the D section was formed. And by the time the classes start, half the semester was over. And I'm telling this because we come from first batch of VTU. Okay, then it was such a scary thing. All the seniors used to scare us. I mean, you guys are going to get screwed up because you don't have any model question papers or the old question papers. We had a lot of references. Last 10 years preparation of question papers is good enough for us to get through. All these things used to happen, which I had no clue, but I mean, I used to listen and just follow. Then I think one of our classmates told that engineer is going to be very tough. Okay, first of all, I came without no clue, and this guy is saying it's going to be very tough. So without any references, I just thought, let me give my best. Again, it's good as long as I keep passing. That is how, that was my target was. Then the D branch started, semester went on. Trust me guys, by the end of first year, okay, probably I don't know whether it was that the whole branch, we were so relaxed and things like that, or we didn't get time to study. Only 2 of us qualified to go to next year. The whole D section was swept. Okay, I very well remember only 2 could go forward because I think all others had, flunked in more than 4 subjects. Sir, is the rule same even now? If more than 4 subjects are failed, we have to be detained. Is that the rule, or things have changed?
Yes,
Okay. So I think 2 of us failed in less than 4 subjects. I think I passed all the subjects. And to my surprise, I was second in the college. Trust me, I'm not boasting here. It happened because of the fear I had in me. I came from nowhere, okay, about knowing nothing about CET, college, engineering. And one guy had scared me that I'll fail if I don't study now. Okay, so that fear probably pushed me to be independent, work to the best possible ways. And I think there was a lady who was topper and I was second. That's what I remember. Maybe I could be second, third, I don't know, because there were 4 branches. So again, see, that small success make me relax a bit. Okay, so I'm just seeing where we can connect the dots. I'm sure many of you will have been going through this scenario. The stories that I'm telling you will be one of your stories. May not be not all the scenarios with all the people, but one scenario with one person for sure will be there. So we tend to relax, we tend to take, serious about few things. These things probably sometimes put us in trouble, okay? Or it may put us in a front foot. All that could happen. So after that, I think next semester started, but there was a very interesting story here. I was in IP and somebody told me IP has no future, no jobs. So somehow you do whatever you want, you have to get into CS or ENC. Then my seniors also told me there is a concept of brand change. Okay, then I immediately went to the principal. Then it was Dotran sir. I said, sir, I want brand change. For brand change, you're directly coming to me, he said. Sir, I didn't know whom to ask, so I just heard that there is a brand change. If there is an option, please let me know the procedure. No, this is VTU. It's going to be very strict, especially this is the first year. There are a lot of things are still getting finalized. Now things are going to be complicated. Now go back and sit in your branch, whichever was original. Then I said, sir, I heard ENC or CS is better. Okay, but what to do? I mean, we have no choice.
Shirur sir. Hello sir. Hello Rajashekhar sir. We are not able to hear your voice. And also video has been muted sir. Wait, it is still. Hello.
Hello, Rajashekhar sir.
I think sir, Rajashekhar sir has exited. Just maybe network problem or something.
Maybe some problem connection.
Yeah, probably connection sir. He will join us again.
Okay, we'll wait for a minute.
Yes.
Maybe technical glitch is there.
Dear participants, please wait. Sir is joining again. It's just a network problem. He will rejoin the meet.
Yes, sir. He's back. Hello, sir.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
a power cut. Rarely happens, but probably UPS is down. Sorry for that inconvenience. So I was telling about the brand change, right? So it was almost December. You can imagine, Jan probably 11th were the dates announced. Until December end, I had no clue which branch I'll be writing my exams in. For sure, I knew I would write exams. Okay, I had attended few classes in IP, most of the classes in ENC, based on the faculty. Some faculties, I am very thankful to those faculties today. They were allowing me to sit in their class. Okay, and there were few faculties in IP. They said, no, if your attendance is 0, forget about which branch you go. I'm going to give you bad remarks, and we'll see that you will fail in this 1 year. So, I mean, these are some of the things that were happening then. But somehow my gut feeling, my faith in the system, I always was very sure. Maybe I may flunk in all the subjects in 3rd semester, but I was very sure that I would get into ENC. So I probably had a small argument with my favorite faculty then. It was Dr. Dotrat sir, and told him, no sir, whatever it is, I need a confirmation in next 3 days. I'm okay if I fail in all the subjects, but I want to get into ENC. So this was my request, and to my request, sir ensured that the same day, okay, he traveled to Belgium. He got our branch change, and from there he called our then HOD Shrikant sir and informed that the branch change is confirmed. Already the lab dates were announced, but again, to my luck, the theory exams which were supposed to be before the lab, they got postponed to after the lab. So I got to do my lab exams first without knowing much. Then again, we were given an opportunity to practice the labs with whoever, our batchmates, and many of my classmates helped me then. Professors helped me, especially I remember Purohit sir giving us extra time in the lab to experience, because I think we were 6 of us or 6 or 7 of us who had got a branch change. So we're very privileged. I think, I don't know how the flexibility today is, but then professors were very flexible. They were giving us a lot of time. Okay, and freedom, I know it's again the system, not any individual can decide about it. As the things grow, I think systems come in place. So that went on, and luckily I got to write my 3rd semester exams. And I think Datta sir knows it. Again, in the 3rd semester, only 5 people cleared all the subjects in 3rd semester from from the 3rd semester. Out of those 5 people, to my luck, I was at least on a boundary of few subjects, I had passed all the subjects. So now looking back how this was possible, probably I give that credit to my school, where I rarely studied. Okay, so probably that that thing in me about getting through in the exams was not very difficult for me. Okay, passing the exams, but of course topping something was always a challenging for me, because there were a lot of people very studious, especially Dikshit sir and a few more people, and there were few people, they were very sincere. Okay, and I used to go to them and in short form, which are the important questions I used to ask. Okay, and they used to yell at me, saying, you come here prepared, but you're acting as if you don't know anything. Of course, I mean, I used to read things usually in the night, and try to go, or not try. I used to go and disturb them. So those are some of the things that I remember today. Not every time, of course. Only wherever I wanted a break in between, I used to go there, because we were all staying. Most of us used to stay in Adarsh Nagar. So I cherish those memories today. I'm sure many of you have similar stories like that. Then went on college. Fourth semester came. I probably became so overconfident. I failed in one subject. Okay, which I thought I'll get more than 90. Okay, I think Purohit sir is not there. I strongly apologize for that. I had failed in fields and waves. Okay, but my percentage was more than 75, but only that one subject failed, because it was because of my overconfidence. So it was the last exam. I thought, anyway, it's the last exam, why to sleep? Okay, I decided I'll not be sleeping that day because I have to get highest marks. Okay, that was an attitude issue. So I didn't sleep before the exam that day. Saw the question paper. We had like 8 questions. Out of 8 questions, you had to write 5 to get, to attempt 100 marks. Trust me, guys, I probably knew all the 160 marks questions. I knew the answers. That's what I felt. When I started writing exam, trust me, not even one answer came out correctly, because they were not some theory to just sit and write. They were like a problems. Okay, it was the application of what we had studied. No doubt question paper was tough, but still, when I saw the question paper, I was very overconfident, and I thought I will be getting through all the 5 questions correctly. And when I started writing, I didn't get even one question properly. I was very sure I would fail. Okay, but probably between 30 and 40 is what I would get in marks. So I failed. Then I knew I deserved it. I thought I'll not apply for revaluation, but still somebody pushed me. Okay, and I applied for revaluation. Probably they saw my aggregate and passed me in the subject. I'm just telling that on a lighter note again. I was cleared, I passed that exam with a 35. So, see, we all have ups and downs in our life. Okay, so sometimes we were doing really well, sometimes we were the toppers, sometimes we have failed. All this would happen. Okay, we should never get bogged down from any one incident in our life. Okay, and after the college, probably, or at least during the days went on. After that, I was fortunate that our particular project group was picked for going to Karmik, Karnataka Microelectronics, Manipal, for our final year project. That, I must say, when it comes to my VLSI career, that was a big break for me, big breakthrough for me. Okay, so I got into that project. As a lot of faculties helped us to be there. I remember Shrikant sir, Manu madam was there, then Purohit sir was there, M.N. Patil sir was very instrumental for us because he was our project guide. We got into Karmik. I think many of you might be knowing about Karmik. It's, I must say, it is a gem of a school, okay, where they go, beyond limits to help the students. I don't know how the things now are, because the real hero, Dr. Mahan Shetty, is no more, unfortunately, but he was very instrumental in, grooming the rural kid, rural students, because he used to pick few students from different colleges, especially who come from a rural background, give them a great opportunity to learn in depth about the subjects. So we were fortunate, and then we came back to college to attend our, the Viva and write our exams. Immediately after that, we were told to come back to Manipal. Okay, and we went back to, I remember we probably finished our exams on July 24th or something like that. And the very next day, I think I remember I boarded my bus to Manipal. So we started a small company then, okay, with the help of Dr. Manchitti's mentorship. But it was not a success. Rather, I mean, as a project, it was not a success, but the learning was great, okay. See, success cannot always be measured only with the outcome, but it depends on how we enjoy the journey to get that success, okay. So during our stay of like 8 to 10 months in Manipal after the final year project, after our graduation, we got to go through a lot of learnings and beyond technology, right? VLSI is one thing which was the most important thing there. But to run a company, it's not enough to just know some technology. Okay, there'll be a lot of things around. And then now I realize we were probably too young to start a company then. Then we didn't have probably the right maturity, enough backup with our basics, maybe even the skill sets or our interpersonal skills and all that. So we all decided that we're shutting it down for now and going back to probably, which is a IT hub, that is Bangalore, to look out for jobs. And it was a recession time. I came to Bangalore, just like everyone around, all my friends, we started looking out for jobs. I don't know what luck it is. We went the very, I think, third day of my landing in Bangalore. We went to one of the campus I think again it was a Satyam. I remember we went there, and there was such a big crowd. There was almost like I can tell you, if we had not come back, there would have been a lathi charge. There were so many freshers waiting outside the gate because they were collecting resumes. And it was a recession time. Everybody, I think maybe our senior 2-3 batches, our batch, everybody were going there and giving the resumes. I'm sharing these experiences because don't get bogged down if you also get to experience such things in future, okay? I'm sure everybody's experience will not be same again, but if some of you have to struggle, it's okay. Don't take that to head and give up trying, okay? And it was so early phase of my stay in Bangalore, looking at the way it was made like a fish market. I said, I'm not going to go to any doors without a invitation for the exam, okay? I mean, for whatever the test we call, right? Then many of my close friends shouted, I'll just tell directly in the slang, Magne ಈಗ ಬಂದಿಯ Bangalore ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, right? So very true. I mean, situation was not that simple where we decide what we want to be, right? We all had our own commitments, and I decided that as soon as I finished my college, and no matter how the recession was, I decided I'll not take a single penny from house. I have to survive on my own expenses. This was my internal commitment, which I probably had shared with a few of my friends. And thank God, I mean, that was possible, to keep up my promises. So, but what happened, Satyam, they said, no, I think we're not going to have any exams today. You all have to go back and apply. We'll give you email ID. They gave us the email ID. We all applied. And the very next week, and again, applying, a lot of things happened. I don't have to get into those details. The very next week, my resume was shortlisted, just like many other freshers. Again, thousands of people wrote the exam. I think they picked some 6 to 70. I went for an interview after I qualified in the written exam. I think 2-3 people from our college had qualified in written exam. When we went for the interview, they started asking me, do you know C, C++, operating system and all that. Trust me, I knew nothing about those, okay? I knew a little bit, but not to an extent of answering any of the questions. So I thought I'm not saying any of you to do this, because most of the time it doesn't work. I said, I don't know anything that you are asking, but you ask me anything about VLSI, I can talk. That's what I told them. And none of the two interviewers anyway didn't know about VLSI. They knew a little bit about embedded systems. they asked me to explain my final year project. That was one opportunity given to me, which probably I did the best possible way. Then I was selected for a group discussion. There were at least some 3 to 4 IIT people in my group, where out of, I think it was a group of 9 people. I'm sharing these experiences because it is related to my journey after the college, which many of you will be experiencing. Okay, it may take a little longer, it's okay, but do know this, that there is something called group discussion. There is something called, soft skills. There is something called other capabilities, whatever it could be. Those are also important apart from your marks and your subject knowledge. So in the group discussion, probably again I was picked because that is the way I presented myself, which I urge each one of you to practice that. Whenever you get a chance, speak. Okay, develop a habit of knowing more things, so that any random subject given to you, you should be able to speak at least for a few minutes. Develop that habit. It's not just to get through group discussions. You can steal the show wherever you are, in a group of your colleagues, classmates, whoever it is. You can influence them in a better way, right? So that was about getting into Satyam Computers. I worked there for 2 years. I think many of you know, then the service company had an agreement of 2 years. So I finished my 2 years with Satyam. Then I applied for ARM embedded technologies, advanced risk machines. I think you know that, right? So that is something which we had learned very passionately. Reduced instruction set computers and complex instruction set computers. So I thought, wow, I'm feeling something, which I had studied. I'm getting to get into those kind of a company. So that was a big motivation for me. So probably from a salary of like 2 lakhs, I got into 6 lakhs. Then 6 lakhs was a big number. Okay, so that was financially, yes, it was a good breakthrough for me. Not just that, work-wise, I got to work with international colleagues because it was an MNC. I don't have to tell you what ARM is. It's one of very valued organization in the domain of chip designing. Okay, and within the organization, it's to my luck, I got into work in a specific domain, which is called DFT, design for test. Okay, within that again there is something specific called built-in self-test and repair. I think, I don't know if it is there now, we did had a small circuitry built-in self-test, but I didn't know there is something called repair as well. Then I got to work into those things. And to my luck, I'll just show you probably 1 or 2 slides how when you give your best, things start falling in line. I'll just show you. This is just whatever I spoke to you all this while. I've just made a few notes for myself. So this is about my IT career. Okay. So when I was working with ARM embedded technologies, I got to work with a very innovative technology, and that also helped me to file a patent. Okay. So then I always thought applying for patent is something, a scientist's kind of a job, not for engineers. That's what was in my mindset. But my team lead then was very supportive. He says, no, innovation is not that complex. It is anything that you just sit and solve somebody's problem in a unique way. That's what he told me. And I think you might be knowing about address decoder. I'm talking about a subject because it is related to electronics. Address decoder test and all those used to be there. Okay, those were happening manually. They used to test one after the other. I built a circuitry where at every clock a new feature was tested. I mean, a new option was tested, and it would tell whether the circuitry is working or not. So that automation, or that a small circuit, probably solved a lot of test time. Test time is very important because it will be sitting on a tester which is worth millions and billions. So we reduced that big problem into a small circuitry, and that probably gave us a patent. And also, when I was with ARM, I also had enrolled for my master's, which was a evening class MTech. So for my thesis in my master's, I got appreciation from India Semiconductor Association. And fortunately, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was the chief guest. So I got to share dais with such, a gem of a person who is, exemplary. I mean, there is so much to learn from him, not just about his achievements in the field of aeronautics, but as a human being, he has taught us, the whole country, or rather the whole world, so many things. Okay, having come from such a very humble family, he has grown to a state of becoming president of the country. So see, that itself was so much of inspiration to be with such a person for few minutes, have an interaction with him. I probably spoke to all the people who got awards on that day. So that was again something which kindled the fire in us. And I started feeling that such an ordinary person, I come from such a remote place somewhere in Karnataka. If I could do that, I think all of us can do that. So that is how I felt. So then after that, after a stint of like 4+ years at Satyam, I got to work with Xilinx. We had heard about FPGAs, okay, but probably I got an opportunity to develop the FPGAs. So field programmable gate arrays. Even today, I don't know much how to use the whole board and the ecosystem around it, but I know what exactly happens inside the circuits. So many a times we will not be knowing everything when we are connected to a particular project or a product, but there will be a great opportunity that you get to work in selected modules, yet you can impact the success of the project or the product in a big way. So I worked in Xilinx, Hyderabad. So when I was working with ARM and Xilinx, I got to travel abroad a couple of times. So going places, okay, not necessarily countries, but going places is also a great learning. So whenever possible, if you get an opportunity to travel, maybe to your neighboring college or to your districts or some other opportunity or to other company to do something, don't miss the opportunity. Just grab it with both the hands out and give your best. Okay, I'm sure with every travel that you do, you have something new to learn. If maybe good or bad experience, every experiences will teach you something new. So those visits and interacting with people abroad has changed the way we target or rather I can say, how do we nurture our skills? We were usually not much outspoken. You can see, I mean, many of us have that skill in us. We have the subject knowledge, but we're hesitant to speak. Okay, until we speak, how do the other person know that I know the subject? So we all have to develop the habit of speaking, and again, speaking effectively. Okay, that was about my IT experience. Then again, I was planning to move back to Bangalore after my 5 years with Xilinx. I got an opportunity to come back to Bangalore in one of, again, renowned chip designing company, but there was an interruption. One of my brother's friend who is abroad, I mean foreign return, he had started his own companies. Okay, and he started 2 companies. Okay, one in Bangalore and one in Bijapur, and he was very frankly, he admitted that it's very challenging to run multiple companies, that too situated in multiple places. So I heard you are coming back to Bangalore. Can you do us a favor, or rather, take up an opportunity beyond IT, which was probably at that time was not in my mind, but surely I knew I would do something beyond IT one day. Okay, then I just took time of like 15 days to a month's time, thought through, is that okay to go back and do something beyond IT. Okay, because I was already doing really well in chip designing, and not in many people would let go such an opportunity. But I decided to make a hard decision of quitting IT, or at least trying out something beyond IT. That is how I started managing a food processing company, which is very much there in Bijapur. Very sophisticated to say it is a food processing industry, but it was a winery. I think you all know that Bijapur is very famous in growing the best grapes. So I saw and we are a grape growers. So I thought there is a great opportunity that I need to learn and explore. So that is how I started heading a winery. Okay, and the company then was really not in a great shape. They had a revenue of around 1.76 crore then. I took up that as a opportunity to explore my, explore my skills in managing something, beyond IT. So that is how I got this opportunity of managing an alcohol beverage company. In the span of like 3 to 4 years, we grew it from 1.76 crore to 12 crore. So considering the kind of facility we had there, I think it was a very good growth, probably 7 to 8 times bigger. That is what gave me another bit of additional confidence that we have something beyond the subject that we have been specialized to, and that is probably will take us a lot further. So as I said, they had 2 sister concern companies. The other company also had few issues about building the team, managing people. So I was pulled in there to manage that company for like 2 years, where I had to reset the system, okay, especially the HR system. I had to go look into the strengths and weaknesses of individuals and figure out what suits best and all those things. Not just that, running these companies was beyond managing the white-collared professionals. Okay, we had to work with the officials, the laborers, infrastructure, many things that would come in. Okay, and more than that, I think it also gave me an opportunity to work with farmers, advise them what is best for their field, how to probably work out on their finances and those things. We couldn't do much because the system is so big. I was always, thinking how we can go further and help the farmers, because we tell them not to use a particular fertilizer and all. It's not really viable when it becomes, when we get into the real field, because if the yields go down, they cannot take care of their operational expenses. So these are some of the things. After my tenure of 5 years with that company, I started something again on my own. This is completely where we funded it, and it's at a very initial stage. Okay, we have started a food tech company called Falihos. It's still a baby, and it's yet to get its first ride. But a lot of things are in place. I mean, for the kind of team we have now, we are very confident that we want to live this enterprise beyond business. No doubt, I mean, this is a business to spend a lot of money and efforts, everything. With that, we are also seeing how we can impact the farmer community in a big way. And we see a lot of health issues. So we see there is a need for looking which is more healthier than what we are currently eating. So I think there is something called organic, which we all have been hearing about, but viability wise, it's a very complex system to understand, because as a country, we are still not matured enough to say who is organic and who is not. So there are a lot of controversies around that subject. So we want to now go and professionalize it, help the farmers get organic certifications, or at least advise them how to get it. If not certification, at least encourage them to grow in a more healthy way. So this is something completely digressed from what I did in the last 12 years, or in the earlier 12 years of my career. So we are here today. So I see a huge potential. At the same time, the challenges are a lot bigger than that, because agriculture is kind of very unorganized for the kind of size it is. Okay, it's such a big domain. We cannot just go and educate few people and think the changes will happen. So this is all about my story. Okay, I know I took more time, but this was something related to career and the studies. That is the reason I thought probably my stories, or few instances my stories also would also connect to some of yours. Now, looking into those stories, all of them get connected in one or the other way. You might have learned something which you thought, what is the use? I studied that, I'm using it nowhere. Trust me, guys, one or the other time that will come to your use. But how to make use of that? First of all, you should have that open-mindedness to apply it wherever possible. See, and you know what? Whatever you do, whether it is a job, whether it is business, entrepreneurship, whatever it could be, learn to enjoy it. Okay, have that understanding. There's a saying, you might have heard it. Mahatma Gandhi ji had said it. So satisfaction lies in the effort, not in getting it, not in the attainment of it. So the more effort you put in, okay, that itself is a full victory. That's what they say. So don't be very judgmental if something doesn't go well when you really put in your best. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. I'll give you another instance. I think there is a subject called control systems. When I got the question paper, I was very sure I knew more than 100 marks, which I can confidently attempt, and I probably should get more than 90, because for theory, it's very difficult to get 100 out of 100. I was very sure I would get 90. But as the exam started, okay, trust me, I was so dumb and over ambitious. I attempted only 50 marks. I knew so much about the subject. I went on writing and writing and writing. By the time 2 hours were over, I was still writing my first 20 or 30 marks of the answers. Then things were not out of my control. They were not in my control. I attempted only 50 marks. Don't do such foolish mistakes. Okay. I attempted 50 marks. I got 49. Even today, probably I don't remember the subject much, but I can feel some of the questions that I missed to write. Okay, when everybody had scored amazingly great in that subject, okay, and I probably had failed miserably in the subject. Attempting 50, I had got 49. Probably had I attempted 100, I might have got 90. In spite of that, I think I got 80%, 79, 80%. So see, why that happens is many of the things are not in our control. Okay, out of over ambitiousness, out of unplanning, okay, things would go out of our control, and it would happen in anybody's life. Maybe I'm giving you a small instance of one exam, but it may happen to any of us for a bigger object in our life as well. It may happen with the career. It may happen with a relation. So we should know how to manage ourselves better, first thing. So again, these are all my perspectives. If I can take that liberty of digging a little more bit, okay, world or any situation is not digital in nature. We cannot just say this is right, this is wrong. Okay, so we have to learn to make a right decision. At the same time, have the courtesy to take inputs. I'll cover a few of those points in my later few slides. We are almost close to the end, but I'll tell you the next 2 to 3 slides are going to be very important. Okay, if you know how to apply them, trust me, you will not regret attending today's session. Okay, we always had a this high-ended discussion when we were studying. Somebody used to say, getting good marks is success. And there were guys who were very bad at probably writing or presenting what they write. They used to say, what the heck to do with marks? understanding the subject, knowing it, how it works is more important. Which one is better? Knowing the subject and not scoring is better, or getting good marks? Doesn't matter how it's going to be applied in future. Which one is better? Any answers? See, come out of all this rigidity. Okay, don't be very judgmental. Have that agility. You should be very flexible. Okay, it might be about. If I can tell you about agility, okay, I think there is a great example that I've put here. You might have heard about a river called Choluteca Bridge. Okay, there is a bridge in Central America. Okay, I think you might be knowing Central America is very prone to storms and hurricane. So there are area because of these storms and hurricane. How much ever they put the efforts in building the bridges, one big storm and hurricane, the bridge would collapse, and again complete disconnection from the neighboring places. Not much place to travel around. So what they did is they decided to build one of the best bridges in the world. They brought in the Japanese team to build this bridge, Choluteca Bridge. Okay, they took good 2 years time to build a structure. No matter how the calamities could be, this bridge should not collapse. Do whatever you want, but build the best bridge. That's what was told to the engineers, and they did it. Okay, time went on. There is no person who traveled on the bridge didn't appreciate it. That was probably they thought the best gift the people around the region got. Okay, then came a very big storm and a hurricane. Okay, the bridge was 484 meters. Okay, and what happened is 4 days there was such a big rain, and a hurricane rather. The rains equivalent to 6 months rain they received in 4 days, and trust me, 7 in the area collapsed. And it was built with so much of technology in it. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now it's audible, sir.
Okay. So there was so much technology into it. The bridge was so stable. All the bridges had collapsed, but Choluteca Bridge was very much intact. But what happened later? If you see, the bridge became bridge to nowhere. Choluteca Bridge became a bridge to nowhere. Because the bridge was strong. But what about the low road leading to the bridge? There is a road which was leading into the bridge and going out of the bridge. There was no road at all. I mean, the bridge remained there. Okay.
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿದ್ದೇಶ್ವರ ಪ್ರವಚನ ಸಂಜಿಕ ಇಬ್ರ ಅಮೆರಿಕದವ್ರು ಬಂದಿದ್ರಿ.
Mute them, sir. Yeah. So this bridge became a bridge to nowhere, and see, the water also changed its direction. The water was here. Now the rain was so much, it changed its course. It went somewhere else. So what I'm trying to bring to your notice here is, it's not enough if you build something so powerful, so intact, if you don't have the ecosystem to make use of it. You didn't had a road which was strong enough to keep alive itself. It was gone. So life should not become a bridge to nowhere. We should have the agility to change to the situation. So that is what is called agility. And at the same time, it's not enough, you know, so many things, but you don't know to get along with the people. You should have the empathy to work with people. You may have some of the most brainy people in your class or in your office, but what if they don't mingle well with you, or you don't mingle well with they will be like you have challenges today, even they have. So we should know to work with one another, and at the same time try to understand and feel for the people around you. You should have that empathy. And now coming to the self-management, you probably have the best skills in your domain, but if you don't know how to conduct yourself, how to manage yourself, may it be time, effort, people, whatever it could be, the best out of you will not come out. But not all the time. And my sincere request to each one of you, do focus on interpersonal skills. With all due respect, I'll just quote one small example here. Recently, I was sitting in an interview with one of my colleagues who is from Bangalore. Okay, and I was interviewing a candidate who is an MBA graduate from our own neighboring district. Okay, I had personally picked a particular college and brought some MBA students from there for interview. It was not a very high-tech job. It was more into sales and marketing, but I exactly knew what I wanted to extract out of him, best out of him. We interviewed him. Trust me, gem of a guy. Very committed, very sincere, very humble. All that is great. You interview him. He has the best character that you probably would want anybody to be around you. But when you call him for interview, okay, because I had shortlisted him over phone and called him for an interview. So I exactly knew what this guy is. When I made him to sit for an interview with another guy here who doesn't know where he comes from, the interviewer was surprised that he could not speak even one sentence completely. See, that is where these soft skills are very important. We have to know how to project ourselves. Whether it is communication, whether it is, little bit of English, or you spit out it is Kannada. I mean, no language barriers, but today's world does demand, or at least the command, to know multiple languages, at least English for sure. Because not everybody would be comfortable, whoever is interviewing you, to speak in Kannada. It is their limitation, okay? So you have to develop a habit of speaking, okay? And see that whenever possible. And my sincere request to each one of you as a senior or as a probably elder brother, do spend time speaking in English. I know it's not a rocket science. We always have this tendency of postponing. We will think that I'll practice it later. Let us not do that, because you need a media to project yourself effectively. You have to tell who you are. And that is possible once you open your mouth and start speaking about yourself. So develop those skills of effective communication and building that rapport, that is called interpersonal skills. And also, if possible, wherever, as you grow up the ladder, develop this ability to impact, influence, and inspire people. Okay, these I consider as some of the very important things for us to become successful in life. And as the subject of today's session says, we should know how to come out of comfort zone. Okay, comfort, yes, what is comfort? For somebody, comfortness could be the salary. Okay, for somebody, probably the place. For few people, it could be designation. Is that enough? You just settle down at one place and don't innovate yourself? No, that's not enough, because you actually have a lot more potential than what you currently are doing. But you are not giving a chance for it to harness, to grow within you. We all have the capability to go and help people around us, but we are thinking, I will do it after I do this. Okay, that is the nature each one of us have developed. I'll help my friend or a colleague after I settle down properly. When I said, sir, I've just started a company, I haven't done much, let me come back to you with some results, then I'll speak to my my college mates, is what I told to sir. But sir said, no, you have to come and speak, doesn't matter what stage you are at in the profession, in the business. Then I said, yeah, I think yes, sir is very true. Again, I'm talking about not being in comfort zone, but probably I'm getting into my comfort zone. I said, whatever little I know, I thought I will share with each one of you. Okay, so I know many of us tend to get into this comfort zone at different level of time. Sometimes probably this can be applied to the smallest and the smallest scenario. I want to wake up 5 minutes later. Okay, I snooze my alarm. That is again a comfort zone. See, we all have, and I'm saying all the time, just go out and do everything possible and lose the focus. No, that's not the intention here. Be very focused. At the same time, shoulder more and more responsibilities. So what made me to think, or helped me, especially as an individual, to come out of this comfort zone is my spiritual practices. Let us not confuse spirituality with rituals. Okay, if you ask me what spirituality is, I call it is a tool for me to be more disciplined, to more sensible, to be more helpful to people around us. Okay, so we all have to have some spiritual touch in our life. Spirituality, people have different ways of defining. Some may call it God, some may call it guru, some may call it mentor, whatever you call it. Okay, but have that sensibility, that willingness to know beyond that there is something beyond my efforts. Sometimes you put whatever best possible efforts, still results won't come. And even that has a reason. Okay, it is happening for a particular reason. Give a time, give some space for that. See what best you can learn out of that experience. So if you ask me what spirituality does, it brings clarity in the thoughts. I think because if I have to go back and recall, there were instances where, I had challenges in recalling things that I read or understood properly. I knew I had understood the subject well, but when I start writing, probably they were not helping me to get through the answers. That is because we didn't learn with the intensity that we wanted to reproduce. So for such, if any of you have that kind of a challenge where you are unable to recall what you studied, start practicing meditation. Okay, I'm directly getting into the subject in the interest of time. Okay, but trust me, people, had I experienced it like 20 years back, maybe I would have had more clarity then. But again, as I said, everything has a purpose. I got to know these tools a little later, but they have transformed me personally in a big way. Okay, meditation helps a lot, really, especially in keeping yourself cool, irrespective of the situations, whether tough situations, lethargic situations, whatever it could be, you would know how to bounce back and give the best back to the society or at least self. Now, coming to a little bit about individuals as a students. Now you are all studying, right? You should know how to learn better. Okay, whatever you learn, whether it is subject or rather practicals, theory, whatever it could be, develop the habit of learning beyond what is required for exams. It's well said. I mean, no, said easily, but doing it is not that easy. Right? We all want to do it, but in the interest of time, we have so many things to do in the college. We don't get time to do this, right? And every semester we feel, oh, I think in just 10 days, I did so much in my exams. Just 10 days of serious study, I could get 60-70%. What if I study every day next semester? How many of you have got this thought? At least I had it in every semester. Every semester, I am writing exams of my first semester. In 10 days, I could read so many books. If I read in a similar way in my next semester all the days, I'll probably get 80-90%. Many of us will have thought through this. It's not happening. Forget about revising. At times, it ends up becoming like we don't get time to read even once. And this is not something very special or unique about me. I mean, it will have happened to many of you. I know there will be few people who are very studious. I had a few of my classmates. Before the semesters, they would have read 2-3 times all the books. Okay, so I mean, they were a gem of people actually. I mean, they were so committed for their career. We were a little lethargic. Don't take my bad example for that, but do practice to plan yourself better. Okay, learn to have a willingness to learn beyond the syllabus. Know little more about the subject so that you know how to connect it, and it will give you that thought process when you sit and try writing something. It will give you a link. Now I talk to you about empathy, right? Or the agility, the flexibility. Had I not given the example, be flexible, I mean, it doesn't convince you, right? But when I told you about Choluteca Bridge, which is of no use because it's not flexible, the system is collapsed. Billions of rupees gone. So similarly, when you read a subject, try to link it with something that you love. And develop a habit of reading. Not necessarily only your books, beyond the books. That will help you a lot in a long run. Okay, those who have difficulties in implementing this, I sincerely advise you to read a book. Okay, see, to develop a habit of reading a book, I'm advising you to read a book. Right? The book name is Ready, Steady, Go. Okay. Trust me, I know you have to read this book to develop a habit of reading books. Okay, or rather, if I have to tell you, if you have difficulties in remembering things, you should know how the brain works. There is a lot of that kind of things covered in the book. A very small book. If you mind, you can start it now and finish it by tomorrow afternoon. So it's just, I think I would advise this book to any student. I mean, anybody who is going through exams, who want to score well, who want to know why things happen like this. When somebody reads, they are able to reproduce in very first read. And somebody reads for 10 times, but still, they are unable to write it well. All these scenarios, probably at least, this will give you a lead to where exactly, you are heading for the kind of study you are doing. So you all have to read this book, Ready, Steady, Go by Khurshid Batliwala and Dinesh Godke. Okay. Have long-term goals. Okay. It's very good to be focused. One thing at a time. Don't, break your head to about too many things at a time. You have decided to take up a subject today, or at least at this moment, focus on that subject. Don't worry too much that what about that subject? When you have decided to study this subject, at least finish this subject completely, or at least for the duration that you have fixed. Then you take up the next subject. A lot of the times what will happen when you're preparing yourself for XYZ subject, some ABC subject is bothering you. Learn to know that you can do only what is in your control. And my next sincere advice, be very ambitious. Okay, don't dream small. I know each one of you are very capable. It is just that you have to be open-minded, okay, and learn to compete with yourself. There is enough competition outside, but trust me, there is no better healthy competitor than yourself. Love him, okay, hug him, challenge him, and break your own records. Okay, when I say be ambitious, same time be realistic also. You should know the ability between the ambition, you should know the gap between the ambition and the ability. And to do anything, you should have a proper plan. Just don't think that, I was here, I should immediately, without doing much, I want to have a big ambition, so I want to do so and so. You should also know how to plan to go there, right? And look at overall development. Don't get stuck with your studies alone, okay? Life is beyond studies, guys, let me tell you. Studies is just one part of it. And what is the studies for ultimately? To have a good career, right? You need a good career. What is the career for? To support your family and yourself? What if you don't have your own health in the right state? What do you do with all the money or a great career? So look at life holistically, okay? It may look very philosophical to you, but trust me, there is no other way out to be leading a happy life. You may bluff yourself. No, having money, I can be happy. No, that is just small bluff, I'm telling you. Until you have people around you happy, you cannot be happy. So my another sincere advice to you, which I think some of you may agree, may not agree, but I personally feel very essential for each one of us. You have Sir, am I audible?
Now it is audible, sir. Now it is audible.
Okay. Sorry, sir. There was a net issue.
Yes, yes.
So, who is your fallback? Remember this word very carefully. Fallback is somebody whom you look up to whenever you have something great to share or when you need somebody to advise you in life. We all need mentor in life. No matter who we are, we will have one or the other advisor in every aspect of life. You could find that mentor in a teacher, in a professor, in your parents, friends, colleagues, or any spiritual leader. You should know whom you have to look up to. Not that he comes and solves your problem, but he will at least give you a hearing ear. He will tell you at least as much as you know. He will at least tell you whom to look up to. Now, probably I may not go and ask about my career to my parents because they are not from this domain, but I can still have a mentor in my own domain. Now, you want to make a good choice about your health? Have a mentor to know what is health, where to look for it. You have some interpersonal skills, go speak to a good friend who doesn't probably, make mockery out of you, but yet help you without even knowing that, you are going through tough situations. He doesn't care. I mean, he's there with you. He is there for you. At the same time, you may become his mentor for some of the situations. Trust me, guys, we learn from every individual on the earth. Whether it is a good experience or a bad experience, there are so many situations, so many people, they will teach us so much in our life. It's very good to be confident, but that doesn't mean you will do everything yourself. You as an individual cannot do everything. You should know how to exist in the ecosystem and get the best out of the people around you. That itself will bring the best out of you. So always feel free to share your success and failures with the mentor. Give them 100% freedom to criticize you and trust them 100%. Don't get bogged away when he says something that you probably may not find very soothing to hear. But as a mentor, he has to have that freedom. So with that small note, I conclude my words. If you have any specific questions, I'm open. I'll take the questions. I sincere apologies. I took probably half an hour more. I don't know whether it was good or bad, but it just went in the flow. And I know, I mean, those experiences will be something that might probably help you.
Sir, it really went good, sir. Participants, if you have any questions, you just put it out. Sir, Vijay sir, you wanted to speak? Sir, please go ahead. Vijay sir?
Dinesh sir?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Raj. Hello. Shirur, sir.
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share our visit to your winery. Just to review the moments. Is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah, please, sir. I'll just make you the co-host. You can.
Please.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can do that now.
So, luckily we had your invitation to visit Rico Winery. Whether the photo is visible, I'm using two screens. Sir, can you confirm whether my screen is visible?
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Photograph from newsletter.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yes. So myself, this and sir, sir, and Achuk sir, we had been to a Rico Winery in Jan 2017. So we had a very wonderful time. Automation processes and the procedure of making wines and its health benefits. We had a very wonderful time. Unfortunately, we were not available. Maybe we were busy in setting up our Bangalore branch, I guess,
Yes,
in
sir.
Jan 2017. But we had a very good time. I just wanted to say thank you and wish you all the best.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Vijay sir. The participants, if at all you have any questions. Hello. Okay. So I think the participants have been motivated with the words and experiences and the situations you've faced, sir. and also the things which you have highlighted, like interpersonal skills and communication, soft skills, and also we need to come out of our comfort zone and work according to that one. So this was quite a motivational interaction and a positive session, sir. Thank you for all the things, sir. Now I would request our Professor M.N. Deshmukh to give the vote of thanks here. Deshmukh, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Yes, sir. Am I audible? Ajit, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Sir.
Yes. So thank you. It was a very wonderful session. It was a very wonderful session. First of all, I would like to thank our today's resource Shirur, sir, for such a wonderful session. Thank you, sir, for sharing your journey and sharing your experience. And also, I would like to thank the BLD management. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you, Shirur sir, for sharing your vast experience and your journey. It was very motivational and inspirational
session. Also, I would like to thank the BLD management, our principal, Dr. Atul Ayere sir, for providing us an opportunity to conduct this event. I would like to thank our beloved HOD, Dr. UD Dixit sir, for constantly motivating and supporting us. Also, I would like to thank the event coordinators and organizers, Dr. S.K. Padgano sir and Achut Tergal sir. Sir, thank you, sir. And also, I thank all my colleagues, BLDA staff, and my dear students. I thank all the participants from various colleges from different places like Bagaon, Chikodi, Nipani, Gulbarga. Thank you for your keen interest you have shown. Thank you one and all. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you all the participants here, and I would like to thank all the team members for successfully conduction of the webinar session here, and the feedback form has been placed into the WhatsApp group here. You can fill the feedback form and feedback form. Thank you all for the wonderful session. Thank you, Rajashekhar sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for giving this opportunity.
Yes,
My
sir.
special thanks to HOD Dr. Umesh and the whole staff for taking time and organizing this. If it helps even one student, I consider it as a worth and effort.
Yes, sir.
I again request all the students to make use of every possible opportunity that you get to interact with people. See what best you could extract out of it and take forward those experiences. Thank you all once again, and again a common thank to the alma mater BLDA College of Engineering.
Rajashekhar, thank you very much. Really, it was a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all the participants. Rajashekhar, sir. Thank you, sir. The team members. Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Shirur sir. And we need your cooperation in coming future semester also for anything, especially for our students. We need your help. Thank you, sir.
Surely, sir. I mean, anything related to VLSI, I know I am out of touch for last 6 years, but even today, if I can think and recall, I do have a lot of VLSI in me. I mean, chip designing in me. We did work in the very latest technologies, but unfortunately may not be very apt to share in depth of any of those at this level. But surely, as a subject, it's wonderful for people to explore their career. So I wish all the students a very good luck. I'm sure you'll all have very rewarding careers. Just grab the opportunities wherever you get, and things will naturally, as long as you keep giving your best, trust me, the best will come to you. Okay, just give time for time and an opportunity to help you out. Everything will be fine from there on. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your
valuable time and sharing your experience. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.